This week on the OneCast, we're joined by former Special Operations medic, outdoor enthusiast, and one of my old teammates here to talk outdoor therapy.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, God, it's a toad, son. It's a toad, dude.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day.
What's going on, folks? Welcome back to the OneCast. I can't believe I'm starting this one off. That's pretty unorthodox here, but appreciate you guys joining us. We have an awesome episode lined up here. Really excited about this. It's a lot different than what we have typically been doing. It's still about the outdoors. It's still about mental health and healing and reconnecting with yourself, but in a different fashion. So we're really excited to bring you that. But before we jump into it, head on over to OneCastFishing.com. Use the code TheOneCast to save some money at checkout. Get yourself those Nighthawks, man. I'm telling you right now, there's something special about that bait. There's other people saying, don't buy them.
Don't buy them, man.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm saying buy them, right? Buy them up. Ben, appreciate you bringing that giant gallon bag of them over here because we burned through 3-4 bags of them when we went out flipping. That water was a couple feet high and we absolutely laid on a clinic. So head on over there, use the code TheOneCast, save some money, get those Nighthawks, those weedless nets, those snagless jigs, all the lines that OneCast Fishing has to offer. You guys will not be upset. And while they're online, what do they need to do?
No, they need to head over to CarolinaWatersNC.com. Again, the code TheOneCast, all one word. Save 15 or 20%. I don't remember. Save some money. Get some gear. Get your UPF gear. They got the new double stitch gloves. If you have big hands like I do, the original glove version wasn't the greatest with the single stitch. They kind of tore pretty quick, but I still rock them because they work. They just have a little hole like on my thumb, but they got new double stitch ones. Brad dropped me off a pair the other day to replace one of the torn ones, and they're super nice. So make sure you check that out. Get your buck stopper shirt. Deer season is here, and if you're in the South, it's super warm. They got a camouflage buck stopper shirt now. Make sure you grab one of those. Keep yourself regulated temperature-wise and protected from those UV rays while you're out there hunting, fishing, doing whatever it is you do outdoors. That's CarolinaWatersNC.com, code TheOneCast. And then
they need to head to Hobie Eyewear. Mm-hmm. So don't use a code. Use the link. Head to HobieEyewear.com. Use the link that we always provide you guys. You're going to save like 20% at checkout. And that's going to basically take $100 and something pair of sunglasses, drop it down to like $83. They got all the different lines that you guys can look at, the floating frames, the lifestyle, the prescription glasses, all those different ones. My whole family's outfitted with Hobie, man. And they've been awesome this year. And we're going to keep rocking those sunglasses through the next tournament season. The floating frames are money. I'll tell you that right now. We didn't get the opportunity to go down to the Field and Stream Music Festival. We're going to do some demonstrations and sell some Hobie sunglasses down there. Unfortunately, obviously, with what's going on right now, Hurricane Helene, the aftermath of that, and now we got Hurricane Milton, that just shut everything down. So more important to take care of people than it is to sell sunglasses. So while you're online, head on over there and check those guys out and pick yourself up some Hobie eyewear. And then what else do they need to do, Ben?
So they need to go over on their, whether you have an iPhone or a Droid, go on whatever your app store, whatever it's called, and you need to download the Deep Dive app. And you need to download that to improve your fishing game, whether that's your preparation and your planning or to make adjustments on the fly on the water. And I'm sure you guys are going down to Murray tomorrow to do a little pre-fish and scout it out. I'm sure you guys have been going through the app, identifying key spots, looking at the water clarity, looking at the water level, and putting a game plan together how to go target. And so all that data is in that app. It's backed by a huge database of fish catches and through tournaments, professional tournaments. And it's an amazing. It can help you unlock the lake.
Yeah, absolutely. After this, so by the time y'all are hearing this, Pete and I had just gotten back from Lake Murray, and we're already starting to look at specifically the water clarity and the wind blown points areas because the aftermath of the hurricanes. We still got a lot of wind pushing in and stuff like that. So we're getting 4 to 6 sustained, and then like gusts of 20 something, right? So we're definitely looking at those points, those ledges, things like that, where the wind is smacking into the bank. There's a blueback herring lake. So we're going to be targeting offshore fish, and we're going to target fish that are up shallow eating brim and stuff like that. So that wind blown point and water clarity feature, those two right there are really important for us on this trip. And we'll give you feedback from it. So
yeah, 4 days, we're going to hit it hard, go do some area familiarization, get ready for April. Maybe we'll get down one more time before official practice, but probably not. just with schedules and everything. So looking forward to that. And what else going on? The Open started today. It'll be over by the time this airs. Will Davis Jr., local guy. That's one of his home lakes. He's right from that area in the lead. So
yeah, they moved it to because I don't know if we talked about. They moved it to Lake Martin because it was supposed to be at Hartwell because of all the flooding out in that part of the state that they moved it. So there were I'm sure there was adjustments, but yeah, Will Davis Jr. is leading right now. Dakota Ebra, Cody Mila, Paul Marks. Some of those big names that we've been hearing for years, they're in the top 10 right now. And it's the final event. So this is going to, shake up the final standings for the top 9.
Yep.
I guess.
Yeah. I looked right before we came in. Most of the guys in the top 10 are top 9 right now, except for Fothergill. He wasn't up there, but he didn't even have to fish. He still qualified. So
yeah,
he had such a lead. He didn't even have to worry about fishing this derby if he didn't want to, but, yeah, so it looks like Dakota Ebert will probably qualify. He was sitting in second, so it'll be good to see him in the elites. He's a great guy. Lots of names that have been around for a while, so exciting stuff going on down there. If you're following the Opens, and we'll definitely follow up with who made it.
We need to follow up with our buddy too. So Mike Johns and his crew are down at Santee Cooper right now fishing the BFL regional championship. That got cut down to 2 days. It was supposed to start today, Thursday,
Friday, Saturday.
So now it's just a 2-day derby. There's like 170 something boats in there, and they got like 6 co-anglers that don't have boaters because boaters had to pop smoke and go back and take care of their families. I think a lot of them are from Florida and stuff. So that's going on with Major League Fishing, the BFLs, and then the MPFL moved their final event to December, where they were originally supposed to be St. John's River. So that'll be a really interesting tournament. And I'm wondering actually how it's going to play out.
But I might go down for that one.
Well, I might try to go down too.
I've got some days I got to burn before the end of the year.
Yeah, I might just skip work and just
go. Work?
Might just go. I want to go ride and follow Seth around and get some content and stuff.
Yeah, there you go.
They'll be closer than trying to go to Missouri here in like a week or two.
Yeah. So I'm interested to see what the St. John's looks like. I mean, hopefully by then, in December, it's, waters receded or whatever, but
we still got a month of hurricanes.
It's not really the water though. It's like the community.
Yeah.
Right. Like, where are they going to stay? Are they going to have the logistics? Are people going to be back and stuff like that? So that's probably a huge logistical challenge that the MPFL and all the anglers might face. Obviously they got Ozarks coming up here. So by the time you're listening to this, they're actually not at the Ozarks yet, but they're going to be starting. So that's their 5th event, which would have been their 6th event. And now St. John's River. I'm curious to see what that looks like, because I think they're probably going to have to put out of Palatka, but they could go down to DeLand and put back in there.
No, they're still planning to go to DeLand.
Are they?
That's what's on. I mean, they'll have to see what the hurricanes and all that did, but if they can go there, they're still the sponsoring town. Yeah. So they're going to try to have that event down there. And play by ear. Hopefully the community's recovered to a fair point. We can get them a little bit of I'd like to go just to help boost the local economy if we can.
100%.
Just try to get down there and spend a little money and hang out for a couple of days. So we'll see if that can happen. If all of us can get down there, maybe just Ben and Trey. But that's enough.
I don't know. We'll see.
Of us running our mouths.
So we've
got an awesome guest.
We do have an awesome guest. If you're watching this, you've been seeing her just like sit back in the darkness right now, just waiting to jump on. This is a really cool episode, man. So you probably fast forward all through this. So we're going to bring her on. So Mrs. Lily Wilker, you're now married. So Lily Wilker, welcome to the OneCast. We appreciate you driving an hour away and eating some delicious burgers. Were they good?
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah.
They're all right.
They were delicious.
I mean, you only ate like 2 bites, but whatever. Appreciate you joining us, man. So wanted to bring you on to like talk, like introduce yourself and then kind of go through like your life up until you join the military.
Real quick before we do this, I want everybody that's listening to understand that we focus on fishing a lot, but this is an outdoor podcast. And, we focus on outdoor therapy, recreational therapy, different things you can do, especially for our veterans, first responders, folks that have served in some capacity. This is not going to be about fishing. So if you don't want to hear a really awesome person and how they're healing those wounds, you suck. No, just kidding. I understand. But I want to forewarn you, if you're here and you're waiting to get to the fishing, it's not going to be that. But she has awesome stuff she's doing to use the outdoors for 3 weeks. So I just want to give that little bit of a heads up because I don't want to read your mean comments later. So
yeah, that's all right. If you got a mean one, we'll take it. Just leave us a review.
Yeah. If it's 1 star, tell us why.
So I got a really cool fun fact about Lily after we get done talking. She already knows exactly what I'm going to say, but I'm not going to say it now. So Lily, where are you from?
I'm originally from Ohio. First off, thanks for having me on the show. It's great to be here. Yeah, originally from Ohio, Central Ohio. Grew up there, went to college there. And
where'd you go to college?
I went to Athens, Ohio University in Athens, Ohio.
So not the Ohio.
Not the Ohio State University, no. No, I went like the few steps below there. Yeah. I probably wouldn't have been welcome there. I grew up by the campus though, so like huge whole family Ohio State fans. The worst, I know. Yeah. But
can't argue with that. No.
Yeah, no, Athens and I just grew up down there doing the outdoor thing. And after I graduated college, I went and joined the military.
Yeah.
I was like, I went to college because that was what I think was expected, kind of how I grew up. And then like, all right, well, I'm going to do what I want to do and go enlisted after college for some reason. So.
Well, like back up, what were you looking at the military for?
So, I don't know. There's a lot of, I just do things.
Yeah.
So like back in high school, I thought I wanted to be in the Air Force and like, I'll do the Air Force Academy. And you have to be pretty smart to do that and have good grades, which I didn't have either of those. So I was like, all right, I'll just go to Ohio University and kind of left that, I don't know, maybe it was in the back of my head. And then towards the end of college, I was like, no, I need to do this. So, excuse me. Yes, I need to do this.
Yeah. Was your dad or were your parents like supportive of the decision?
Yes.
With a question mark.
Yeah, it was like, oh, hey, I want to join the military. And it was like, better be joining the Air Force.
What year was this?
This was 2009.
Yeah, so everything was going on.
Yeah, 2008, 2009 is like, better be the Air Force. I was like, I don't know. I think I want to do the Army and be an MP for some reason. Again, I don't know why. It was my recruiter was an MP, so I think that's why it kind of led me in that direction.
Recruiters would never do anything.
No, never. They're incredibly honest and
Ben sitting back like, I can't believe you didn't be an officer coming out of college.
Right?
Yeah, everyone's got their path though.
Yeah. Ask me how many times that thought had crossed my mind while like sweeping motor poles.
The thing is, you at least had a choice of what job you wanted to do.
That's true.
Yeah.
When it comes to officers, they tell you, but it's whatever they tell you for the most part.
So you joined. So like, what options were on the table for you though, besides cop?
Oh man,
military cop.
Yeah, there was rigger, of course,
parachute rigger. Yeah,
parachute rigger, helicopter mechanic. I asked about medic, and apparently that wasn't a thing, but it was. I just didn't know. Yeah, there was a guy that enlisted at the same time. Didn't enlist or heading off the maps at the same time, and he had a airborne medic slot.
Yeah,
and then he popped hot the day we were supposed to leave. Like,
oh man,
of course, like why aren't you gonna go smoke a bowl before you whatever? But yeah, and then the recruiter was like, oh, can I take that slot? And he's like, no, it doesn't work like that. And it does.
Yeah. That's a good message though. Like for those out there listening that want to join the military, like you have options and it's a negotiation.
Yep.
Right. So like you can settle. I'm not saying you did because I did. You can settle or you can get your wits about you and negotiate with your recruiter and say, well, you know what? I'm not going to join until said job opens up. Right.
There's a lot of power in walking away.
100%. So,
which I didn't know.
Yeah. So then you became a cop. So
yeah,
there's nothing wrong with cops, by the way.
Yeah, Josh.
So we got a good buddy of ours. He fishes for the Army Outdoor Team, and by trade he's a 31 Bravo. He's a military police officer. I don't have to explain that to you, but I do have to explain that to them. So you joined as a military police officer. Did you know what you were getting yourself into?
Not at all. Not even a little. Well, I had a friend that did the college thing after. He was a Cab Scout, and kind of talked to him because he was enlisted, and then went and kind of guided me the right direction, kind of just how to get through basic, of course, because that's like the only thing on your mind. You're like, it's going to be awful. And
was it awful?
No, it's it was awful for the people that had never experienced anything in their life.
Yeah.
So like, I'm kind of glad I had college behind me before I joined, because I feel like I probably wouldn't have been that successful in my military career if I had joined right out of high school.
Yeah.
Knowing my personality then. Had to mature a little. Everybody's different, but
yeah,
that's how I was. But yeah.
And you went to, was your basic and AIT? That's both at Leonard Wood, right?
Yes. Yeah. So it was the OSIT at Leonard Wood. So yeah, went to OSIT at Leonard Wood and then got stationed at Leonard Wood.
OSIT, for those listening, is one station unit training.
And you got stationed there?
Yes.
Oh man!
So you join the Army as an MP.
He's like, I'm gonna get to see the world.
You go to basic
Leonard Wood.
So you go to one station unit training at Fort Leonard Wood. For those listening, it's like Fort Lost in the Woods, right? Because it's in the middle of nowhere,
smack dab middle of Missouri.
It's so for all our fishing fans, it's 45 minutes. 40 minutes from Lake of the Ozarks.
Yep.
So,
yeah. So
just south of there.
See, we did talk fishing.
Yeah,
we did talk fishing. Lake of the Ozarks. Actually,
time there, lots of time there.
So we're going to talk about that. So basic wasn't hard, but did you learn anything from basic? Anything that you applied in life? Maybe.
What a great question.
How to roll her underwear.
How to make a bed.
How to make a bed.
Joke's on you. She doesn't wear any. Right?
Let's see. What did I learn in basic?
I mean, you don't have to.
The way Trey asked the question, I feel like there was a story there that
I'm just wondering. I mean,
yeah.
Did you learn anything basic, Trey?
I learned what not to do.
There you go.
I didn't learn that.
Okay.
I'm still figuring that out.
All right. So basic training's over with. Were you top of your class?
I got the PT award.
Did you?
But yeah.
What's PT stand for?
Physical training.
Oh, okay. So
I physically trained the best.
So was there were there like a bunch of fat bodies there or whatever that weren't doing good or what?
Wow.
Man, really hyping me up.
That
here,
was
man.
a shot across the bow.
That's what.
Oh, you got it. So I'm guessing.
Hey, listen. I was a fat body when I went. I was like 33% body fat, 315 pounds before I joined the Army. I dropped down. Right. I had to. Navy was like, no, you're too fat. Air Force was like, don't even walk in the office. And I was scared of the Marines. So Army's like, we'll take you, you know, right. But going back to you, this isn't about me. So you took the PT award. That's awesome. So you got the badge on your shirt.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I didn't even realize it, but my drill sergeants had stolen my one of my PT shirts and got it sewn on there. And I had no clue. And he gave it back. And I'm like, wait, it's got my name.
That's cool.
How did you? Kind of weird, right?
Yeah.
But they stole my shirt and sewed that thing on there.
Yeah.
And then I accidentally wore it to PT when I was in the real Army once, and that was my word. I got shamed so hard.
It's like 5 a.m. I mean, you're just grabbing your PT clothes.
Yeah.
Come on, you don't even look.
Yeah.
I mean, I've gone my clothes inside out before. I think everyone's done that.
It was winter too.
Inside out.
Yeah.
Went and took my jacket off and was like,
oh, shame.
Oh no.
All right, so you're stationed at Leonard Wood. You're a military police officer. How was that experience at Leonard Wood?
So the reason we all got stationed at Leonard, so every person that was active duty in my basic training, minus like 2 people who had whatever extenuating circumstances, all got stationed there because they had done the restructuring for the maneuver enhancement brigades.
MEBs,
So the MEBs, and we were the 4th maneuver words are hard, enhancement brigade.
Yeah.
And we fell under like first ID because I was just over in Kansas. So I don't know. It made sense.
Mm-hmm.
It really didn't, but so they were restructured and they had just brought a company over from Stewart, I think, which is, I don't know what it's called now. In Georgia. They brought a company over and they were restructuring that for deployment. So that's why they just brought us all in there.
When did you leave Fort Leonard Wood? What year?
I left 2013.
Oh, so you were there when I went to Bullock there.
Oh, you guys were there at the same time?
Yeah, we were, yeah. It always
good thing you never crossed her path.
I know. I'd probably get a ticket or something.
I did not write one ticket. I was a terrible MP.
Oh, you're a great cop.
Yeah, I mess with people, but
yeah,
my favorite thing to do when so we're kind of going back and forth here, but like my favorite thing to do when I ended up having to work the road was, I mean, there's a few of them, but one of my ones was like if at the top of a hill, like, you see the cop and like everyone slams on their brakes and everything. Like no one knows what a radar looks like. So like people would just get going on and like it had the microphone and I would just like drive by. And then you just watch them like slam their brakes. And I figured like, they're like, why don't you write any tickets? I'm like, I don't need to. Like they're slowed down. I did my job. Like that, or like at night when you like, you pass a cop and then I know they saw me and they know I
hit your brakes.
And then I just hit the brakes and then you see them in the brakes. I'm like, I gotcha. But yeah, there's all sorts of nonsense MPs do. I don't know if they still do chem light tag, where you find your buddy that fell asleep in their little hiding spot and then you break a chem light, stick it on their patrol car.
I don't know.
I gotcha.
I don't know.
Josh.
I don't know. Yeah, we'll have to ask our buddy Josh because he's still, he's actively fishing, but he's still serving as an MP. So,
he should know what chem light tag.
Okay, he'll listen to this. We'll make him listen to this one.
Let us know that that's still a thing, Josh.
Yeah.
On the down low, we'll never confirm nor deny.
On the down low.
Yeah, I think it was working the road that made me want to switch my job.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because we I go back and forth all the time. Like I have no train of thought.
You're fine.
So
squirrel.
Squirrel. What? So we got to the unit and we immediately started trading for deployment. So I was PSD, which is Protective Services Detachment, and you escort generals around.
Yeah,
people that get paid more make bigger decisions.
Yeah.
We drive them around. So I drove general around in Afghanistan for a year. Came back, started working the road, and was like, this ain't it.
So you deployed out of Fort Leonard Wood?
Yes.
And then where'd you end up going?
We were mostly in Kabul, Afghanistan.
Okay.
I was there for a year.
A full year.
Full year, yeah. It was right when they were switching the deployments to like 6 and 9 months. And we're like, oh sweet, we only have to be out here for 9 months. Like, not you.
You get the 12.
No, your orders are already cut. And we're like, can't amend those or anything. At the time I was single, didn't have any like animals or anything, just living in the barracks. So like that 12 months when you're in that situation is not nearly as crappy as if you have somebody or something or anything that you're leaving. Obviously I'm leaving my family, but I was in college, leaving them all the time.
So a year. And so up to that point, had you experienced any of the like awesome outdoors that Leonard Wood had to offer?
Yes. Yeah. So I definitely, looking back, I wish I would have taken more advantage, but yeah, we would, our thing was we would go to the Current River. I don't know if you're familiar with that, or Lake of the Ozarks. We liked the Current River because we had a couple campsites along there. We'd go camp along the river, but there was no cell service. So we'd be like, hey, we're going out here to our, whoever we needed to tell, our platoon sergeant or whoever, and here's where you can find us. Bye. And then you can't get recalled. So
So not only did you use the outdoors for therapy, but you used it as an escape mechanism.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And
I think it's the one and the same, actually.
Yeah.
Escaping from reality.
Yeah.
Was that something similar to like growing up in Ohio? Did you do a lot of outdoor stuff in Ohio too?
Yeah. So I grew up pretty outdoorsy. So we lived in the city, like lived in Columbus, but our, my grandfather had a farm just north of Cincinnati, had like 100 acres. So I was just running around without shoes in the woods for all the time. And even like we moved out of the city when I went, I was in middle school and lived at like, we had like 5 acres in the middle of cornfields, fields and woods. So yeah, I was outside all the time.
That's good, man. Cause you guys hear it all the time. You don't even have to be a military person to hear it. Like so many people go, they'll get so busy. They'll get tied up in their job or whatever, and they'll forget like the outdoors. Yeah. And then they're like, man, I haven't been fishing or haven't been outdoors running around barefoot in 15 years. I need to get back to that. So it sounds like you kind of kept that going the whole time, at least up until this point that you were in the Army. And then you got to experience the great outdoors in Kabul.
Oh, it was.
What do you think the very first day you landed? Because you probably landed in Bagram.
Yes.
And
so before you went to Cobble, had you been anywhere other than Central Missouri, Cincinnati, and Columbus?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got to see some other.
In high school, I also grew up in Girl Scouts. Like my mom and her best friend were our troop leaders, and they just lived vicariously through us. So yeah, we did all sorts of stuff, all sorts of trips. We did backpacking, fishing. I remember there was one of the summer camps we went to. They'd have like a dad's weekend, and my dad would go there with me and not do any of the assigned activities. We just went to the catfish pond the entire time.
Hey, more fishing.
There we go. More fishing.
Yeah.
See?
I'm sorry, Dad. I don't know if Mom knew that.
Well, now she does. Anyway, so you first, how long were you in when you deployed your first time?
Like how long?
Roughly had you been? How long had you been in the Army?
Oh, it was almost just under a year, I believe. Yeah, it was like our train up and then left. So
you literally went right into train up.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, it was literally like, hey, you exist here to do this. So like we had one platoon that was the PSD platoon, and then the rest of the company did HVT, which is high value target transfer. So they just flew around with bad dudes in helicopters and then had to babysit them. I'm really glad I didn't have to do that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, they had to, bag people's heads and then escort them to the bathroom. That was most of some of their jobs.
Okay.
For 12 months.
Yeah. Well, good thing you got the PSD side.
Yeah.
So back to Trey's question. What did you think when you got to, you said you flew into Bagram?
Mm-hmm.
What was that like?
It was not what I expected at all. Because you fly in, it's just well established, lots of cement and fences and big buildings.
Yeah.
And it was just like, oh, okay. And then, we were in the city in Kabul, so it's a little different. We moved a lot. So, we didn't physically, we were driving a lot. So, yeah, we'd go down to Logar, which is just south of Kabul, quite a bit.
Like 2010 time? Is that where we're at? Like 2010?
Or 2011. 2012.
Okay.
When I was deployed, yeah.
Wow.
So,
was it fun?
You can be honest.
Yeah, I think we had some fun, but it was kind of ignorant fun.
Yeah.
Because we had our job, like our aspect is like you do recon.
Mm-hmm.
You do recon and then you do like make sure everything's doing that. So like half the day, if the boss isn't going anywhere, you're on the recon team, you're driving out and making sure you know where to park, where to like what your areas are of security you have to be concerned with. So we were only concerned with if the boss came home.
Yeah.
Like that was it. So like we didn't have a really wide understanding of everything going on. I think you start gathering things like once like more situational awareness about the whole thing when longer you're there.
Yeah.
Everybody, and that's just goes to show that everybody's war is different. Mm-hmm. You hear people, some people want to try to compare stories, right? Like, but everybody's experience was different, and that's important to remember. So, so you did a year there, and then you came back. They put you on the road, and you said nope, and you decided to go to selection. Yeah, or how'd that come about?
So I remember actually it was when it might have been when we were leaving Afghanistan, or it might have been when I was going on R&R. So was that rest and recovery?
Yeah.
Yeah, where you get to go when you have the longer deployments, you get to go home for like a week and be like, "Hey, this is just in case you forgot. This is what you're missing."
Yeah, it's like the worst thing ever. By the way,
it's not. Yeah, it breaks it up, and then you're just all you're doing is thinking about like what you're missing.
Yeah, you're like, "Damn it."
Yeah, and you're like, "Oh, like." Yeah. Anyway, but what was the question?
So you got back, and then how did you end up going to? Because you went CA selection, right? Like, how'd you end up with selection going that route?
Okay, so I saw a poster. They were looking for females for. At the time, they had FET teams, which is the female engagement team. The Marines really, I think, did that the right way, where they would attach females to like infantry or whoever was going out and needed. Females to culturally interact with the other women over there because the males can't interact with women. So I was like, oh, all right, cool. I'm a woman. I can do this and everything. And I think like, I don't want to go into like a bunch of things, but like things you experience and see. And it's like, I knew at the time, I was like, I need to do more.
Yeah.
Like this isn't the capacity that I think I should be doing. I don't know that, like, I just wanted to do something different, do more. And so I saw the female engagement team, and then somehow in Googling that led me to the, what was I Googling at the time? The CST, which is the cultural support team. And that was, stood up. It was Rangers and Special Forces, would take females and they would be attached for an entire deployment. So like the FET teams, for the Army, it was kind of, they would just train you on the ground, let you go. And then at the beginning, and then you'd go out for a mission or whatever. This was, you had to go to an assessment selection. So it was civil affairs assessment selection. I didn't even know what civil affairs was. I had no idea. So we go there, and like, so some of the cadre were civil affairs. We had Rangers, we had Special Forces guys there, and I jumped ahead again, didn't
no, but, you're on par.
Yeah.
On par, yeah.
So, selection with all the cadre.
Yeah, so it was just CA selection with just a bunch of women. And
was your whole selection?
Yes. Yeah, it was just they especially had it for just females.
Yep.
And went through that, made that, and then from there you go to a course. So you do the course. It was like 2 months.
It was like a cultural course or something.
It was just whole train up. Like we did everything from me and the other MP captain actually got to teach how to like detain people.
Yeah.
Because that was part. And they're like, wait, you MP, you just teach this course. But so yeah, we did like a day of that, like how to detain and help with searches. We did like land nav, night land nav, because a lot of the demographic of the females that went there were first lieutenants.
Yeah. And
a lot of them were like in medical fields. They're like, I'm never going to deploy. So they wanted to go deploy. So that was a big attraction for them.
Okay.
So we had a lot of officer females. So they have to kind of get them up to par for like what they need to train. So a lot of it was, we went to the range. What else did we do?
A lot of tactical emphasis, right?
Yeah, a lot more tactical emphasis, a lot of rucking, a lot of running. Like we did PT every morning. We had a ruck every week. I know they've changed that now. We had a ruck every week, and we were in civil affairs assessment or qualification course as well.
Yep.
Trying to think what else we learned. A lot of cultural stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of cultural stuff we're learning from, because we had some repeats. So they had already, if they go through a deployment and they were successful, so the team was like, yes, we would take this one back. Then they get to audit the next class.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I went through all that. I graduated, did not get put on a deployment because I had a dwell time. So you have to have a certain amount of days back home for every day deployed. And I put a waiver in for it and it didn't get approved. So they're like, sorry, you can't do anything. Like, so I was like, okay. You can be a medic if you go to civil affairs, and I'm like, sign me up.
I already thought about the medic thing, and they told me no, and now,
Were you I won't talk about my experience with CST, but were you in the CST selection with any of the ones that ended up getting KIA downrange, Ashley White or anything like that?
Jenny Moreno was in.
Yep,
was
Moreno.
in mine. Yeah, so she was in with ours. She was. I mean, I have nothing but good things to say about her. She was solid. She was just solid. She was a nurse out of Madigan.
Yep.
And she had the thing. She's like, I joined the Army I want to do my job. I want to do more. Kind of like most people there. I want to do more. And she didn't. She's one of those people that just never complained. She just did. Just a good person to be around. So.
Yeah, I was just wondering. I mean, I had some experience training some of the CSTs back in the day, and it was a great program. It doesn't exist anymore for those who are listening. Obviously, you went the CA route and stuff like that. So, talk about that a little bit. So you were like, sign me up.
Yeah, it was like you can do. There's this thing called Special Operations Combat Medic, and I was like, I can be a medic.
Oh, I can go to SOCOM. That'd be fun.
And I can be special.
Did you have any idea what SOCM was like? Had you heard any like grumblings? Did you have any idea what you were getting yourself? Because I know earlier you said you weren't that smart. That is like the hardest medical course as a medic that you could possibly go through, and clearly you passed. Which there's only a very small number of females who have passed through that course.
Yeah,
and a lot of dudes fail out of that course. So obviously you're smart. So don't sell yourself short. But did you have any idea like what you were getting yourself into?
No, not even. No.
Sometimes that's better.
Yeah, no, you're right.
You can show up.
I knew it was supposed to be hard, and it was going to be there. Just everyone was like, "It's the hardest thing you're going to do," and I was like, "Okay, guess we'll find out." And we found out. So,
what was the hardest? Because we won't go into detail on the course, right? But what was the hardest thing? So Sockham was either 6 or 9 months when you went. 6 months?
9 months.
9 months.
9 months. Yeah.
So basically, like a physician's assistance program packed into 9 months, right?
Pretty close.
Yeah.
Like a tactical PA.
If you were to look at a curriculum, like civilian world, if you looked at a PA's curriculum, what they do at Sockham, it's close.
I mean, your ability to sustain a casualty for 72 hours or more is legit. So what was the hardest thing besides being 4 foot nothing?
I mean, that really. So there was point like, so I did recycle. One of them was twice pharmacy. The 1 week
of academic
section of pharmacy, I got the same. But you had to get a 76 and I got a 75 on the test twice. And I was like, oh no, like it just didn't stick. Like that was one thing that just didn't stick. Like, and I know like that was like numbers and just rote memorization is not my thing. The hands-on stuff, and like give me something and tell me to do with my hands. I could figure it out, but just remembering things was not my forte. So yeah, and then I recycled was it trauma 2? It was one of my lanes, and I had missed a pelvic injury, which is a major. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. So I missed that, and then they gave me a impossible patient for the next one. It was like a impalement where they're like laying like that, and it was it turns out there are some things by design, and there was a cadre that didn't think I was didn't want it was the 4 foot. No, I'm not 4 foot, I'm 5 foot.
I got you.
Trey.
Get it right.
My bad.
5 commanding feet tall. But yeah, it was he was like, I don't think he was a SEAL and was not into the
female thing.
Yeah,
it's fine. You can be open and honest.
Yeah, it wasn't
just
into
felt
it.
Like it is.
Yeah, and I remember I sat at the board and I was pretty peeved off at that point because I was like, I know the medicine. And I remember I stand in front of the entire board thing. I know what I'm doing. I know the medicine. If I am not physically, like, if I don't meet any sort of physical standard that you have, that's fine. Tell me and I'll walk away. But I know the medicine and I know I don't. So and they let me stay. So
good. So you won the board. Yeah,
it was basically, I was like, if this is not what you want, then okay, whatever. I'll walk away. But it was. I think that was one of the hardest because I think up to that point I was just pretty ignorant to like I'm just doing my thing, whatever. Yeah. Like I'm getting along with everybody, but it's just I didn't realize that there was actually a cadre that had to help.
So during this just 9 months, you had no time for the outdoors, did you? I mean, you were outdoors.
Oh yeah,
you were outdoors a lot.
Yeah.
But you didn't have time to. There's no like outdoor therapy. There's no connecting with the outdoors during that time, was there?
There wasn't time to think.
Yeah.
But it was all go go go, and there's a lot you have to learn. There's a lot you have to master, and not a lot of time.
Yeah. What was that like when you walked out and it was the last day and you're like, dude, I'm done with this? How was that feeling?
It was pretty good because you're done, and then it kind of all comes together when they're giving you all your rotation assignments. So when you're done with Sockham, you go to a hospital for a month, and you go do your your
clinical rotation.
Yeah, you do the thing. So I went down to Bayfront in St. Petersburg, Florida, and I did my because you ride in an ambulance for like a week, and then you do different aspects of a hospital. So like anywhere from you spend most of your time in the emergency room, and then you do a little bit of ICU, OB, a ER. Trying to think everywhere else. We can just kind of wander around the hospital with things. But yeah, I did ambulance in Tampa, and I was like, I don't ever want to work on a rig.
That's terrible.
That's enough of that.
Those people are a bunch of jerks.
Yeah, like that's enough of that. But yeah, and then the hospital.
I did that for a lot of years, so I can say that.
Okay.
No, but I knowing what I know now, don't do that.
It's. I mean, if they would actually pay them, then
So when you went down and did your rotations, like had that, we focus a lot on, mental healing and outdoor therapy. And part of that is trauma, right? Like people experience trauma throughout their life, whatever that looks like. But up until this point, when you were doing your rotations, had you experienced any serious trauma in your life, like patient trauma, things like that?
Like physical trauma? Not that I can recall.
Nothing. What about St. Petersburg?
Yeah, I mean, it was busy. I mean, I spent a lot of time on two wheels, whether it's with a motor or not. And I was like, that's what I'm going to do when I get done with Sockham. I'm going to buy a motorcycle. I had dirt bikes in Missouri and stuff, but then I was like, all right, I'm going to get a motorcycle. Went to St. Pete and was like, I'm not sure I ever want to be on a bike again. I
understand.
Yeah, it was like, I know there's one specific motorcycle accident where it was just single dude against a pole with high rate of speed, and I was like, ooh,
the pole won.
They always do.
Even
every time.
Yep, helmet and everything. You just ain't no fixing that.
Yeah,
I've seen that a few times, and the pole never lost that fight.
Yeah, they're pretty solidly grounded, but yeah, be safe, people.
Yeah.
But I mean, I ride bikes now. I think it was, when did I buy the bike? Might have been after
Grom?
Lebanon. Yeah, I think it was after Lebanon.
Yeah.
Getting her stuff, but yeah, I think I was just like, whatever. Like, life's too short. You gotta do what you love. You gotta do what you like, and be safe about it, and do what you're comfortable accepting risk for. So.
That's true.
Before Sockham, did you do I don't know the exact pipeline. Did you do the CAQ course before Sockham, or did you do Sockham first?
I did the CAQC before. It has gone back and forth.
It's changed.
Yeah, I know. Everybody I've talked to is different. So
it changes
So for you did
year.
CAQC first, then
yes.
Sockham. So how was your experience at CAQC?
I had a lot of fun. Honestly, yeah, it was a good time. I don't even think it was that stressful, really.
No.
Before you went to that, did you start to have an understanding of what CA was, or was it literally because you didn't really know what you were getting into with Sockham? So like with CA, was it just kind of like learn as you went, like what the mission was? Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah, I thought cool. I had gotten some idea of it. We had, I don't know if you know Captain Hughes, if he's ever listened. I don't know whatever happened to him, but he was my small group cadre, and he was a CA guy. So he told us all about his Afghanistan experiences. And I mean, Trey's, every experience varies, but like I got a good understanding of that. And I was like, oh, the CA thing sounds pretty cool. Like I think I could do that. And then it's like, and then obviously, can I go do the Met? Like when do I tell them I want to do a sock? I'm like, like that's cool. Talk to people.
Yeah.
And can I go be a medic?
So did you dump all the CA stuff like when you went to Sockham?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like you got to.
Yeah. I mean, a lot with CA is like, yes, there's a lot of things in the military. A lot of people make it way harder than it needs to be.
Yeah. And
a lot of times if you find yourself in a situation where you're in the military, if it seems harder than it needs to be, it may not be the right thing for you.
Yeah. That's true. That's a good point.
Mm-hmm. That's life.
That's because the Army makes things easy. And if it's not, then maybe you need to find a different path. And that's not a bad thing.
Yeah. It's funny, like, to hear that, because everybody you hear that had like successful, and successes varies, right? Like,
it's relative,
but had a successful military career. They all have that same kind of like, it was easy. You just did what you had to do.
Yeah.
And it was easy. And then you hear other people are like, oh, it was the worst 4 years. And it's like, well, it sounds a lot like maybe that was some of you, right?
Yeah.
Like you make, and it's the same in life. Like if you're miserable at your job, you probably want to look in the mirror, because it's probably some of that is you, if not most of it.
Yeah.
Like you got to have that introspective. So that I'm glad you brought that up. And that if you're in the military, great. If you're not, that will transfer into the civilian world. Like if you're not happy, it's probably you, because most employers will attempt to give you the tools to do your job
for sure
and not have to be miserable. And we make things a lot harder as human beings than they need to be.
Oh yeah.
So you went CAQC, Sockham, did your rotation down in St. Pete, and then
where'd you end up?
Yeah, where'd you end up?
I just got thrown into it. I was supposed to go to, actually had orders to the AFRICOM battalion, and then our good friend John Turnbull, who I went to CAQC with, he was in my, you have like little small team, so he was one of the guys in my team, and became pretty good friends during there, and he somehow pulled a bunch of strings to get me over to Alpha Company and the CENTCOM battalion. So, and then I ended up with this real weirdo as a team sergeant. And
that guy.
It was just
awkward.
Who's that guy?
That guy.
Yeah.
So you guys have heard us talk about John. Just you've heard his name. He'll eventually make his way on here, but friends with Trey and Lily here. So he pulled the strings to get you there, and that's awesome. So obviously you made an impression through AQC. You got through Sockham. You go to, you got to go deal with Trey, which God, I can't even imagine.
So what was your?
I have no idea.
Let's leave me out of this conversation.
Yeah, we'll talk about it offline.
So you show up to CENTCOM, which is Central Command, right? So that's where you're assigned. What language were you assigned?
Modern Standard Arabic.
Yeah,
so
you didn't.
It's the Queen's English of Arabic.
Okay.
How do you think you spoke that?
Awful.
Yeah,
I
second that.
Not good. There's only so much room up here.
Yeah, sprechen Sie nothing. Yeah,
sprechen Sie nothing. That's one of the downsides of doing Sockham after CAQC, and because language is the first thing you do. And
6 months long.
There was no Arabic after that.
You spent essentially 3 years in training.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a while.
3 years.
Yeah.
When did you actually get to the unit?
2016. Right?
No, you didn't.
Oh, 15?
Yeah, 16.
16. Yeah, it was 16. Yeah.
John and I were together, and then he, little inside baseball. He was like, "Hey, man, I got a good friend. She's awesome." And I was like, "Okay, let's do this. She's awesome. Bring her over. We need medics, right?" And then you came. And then, so now you're in CENTCOM. And then we won't go into the details of the locations because they're still active. But what'd you think when you walked into your company? Like, what'd you think about it?
Specifically, Trey.
What a dick.
Where does this guy get off?
Yeah, sounds about right.
Who does he think?
I thought the same thing when I met him for the first time.
No, it was. I guess Desiree was like, "Okay, I'd been in the Army long enough to be able to identify competency." So I think it was like, "All right, competent leader, and we can go with that."
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean, I didn't have much. I'm just like, I'm the little staff private.
Here.
Like, what was it fun? Like, was your train up for your first special operations deployment? Was it fun?
Yeah, we had a good time, but for the short time
I
went there, I remember like I didn't even go to SEER school until after the first one.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because
were you guys already in workup when she joined you?
Yeah.
Or? Okay.
You're like well on the way.
You were pretty quick in the shoot.
I think I replaced somebody.
You did replace somebody. We
won't go into that.
Yeah, and we don't need. We're not going to go into timing and anything. But if anybody doesn't know, workup in special operations, you do a period of time where you work up preparing for the mission you're going to do, and then you deploy with your team. So that's what we're talking about. Trey and everybody were already doing it. Lily joined, and they were sounds like getting to the end of it.
Yeah.
They were like, "Hey, let's go."
Yeah, quick replacement, and then your first deployment in special operations, you went to Lebanon, right?
Yep.
And just generally, like, how was your experience?
We were incredibly lucky to be in Lebanon at the time we were at.
Yeah.
And I'm really grateful for that. Like, people were like, "Oh, how many deployments you have?" I'm like, "Well, I had like 2 deployments, and then one of them I have a hard time calling a deployment because, I mean, we went snowboarding, went swimming in the bed, like." I mean, we worked. We worked our asses off, but Yeah,
but you got to experience outdoor therapy.
Yes.
Yeah, for real. It was
like snowboarding.
Stay connected.
Yep.
I mean, that's important too. If you were blessed to be able to do that, whether you're supposed to or not, you were able to. But
so what?
That's awesome.
So you're very, very simple with the food that you like to eat. I know this about you. What did you think of like the indigenous like immersion with the food? Like, what was your thoughts on eating the local food?
Oh, I would change my diet if I could. I would just eat Lebanese food all day.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe a little less of the bread. The bread gets a little heavy, but
Yeah.
it's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mediterranean diets. Where it's at?
Yeah, I mean, you put a piece of chicken in the fridge for a day and it's already rotten because there's no preservatives or nothing in it, right?
Yeah, it's good.
So you spent 9 months there. Fortunately for us, and probably fortunately for you, I hope, you didn't get to practice a lot of medicine though, right?
Nah, just on the
the
contractors were most of it, most of the issues.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you don't
wash your hands.
Yeah, when you don't let people leave. And I think the first actual trauma I had was that one contractor that this vape battery went airborne. This is like when vapes were like the size of a beer can.
Yeah, they were like,
and they couldn't get batteries over there, so they're like taking apart like little cells to make their vapes. And this one just like, I wasn't in the Connex for this situation. I wish I was a fly on the wall or somebody had a video of it, but apparently it just started like rocketing around the and homeboy like dives down
like jumping out of a grenade.
He dives down, but his hairy butt crack was hanging out and the battery just like landed on his back and had like 2nd-degree burns.
It's a pager before the pager.
Yeah.
So you spent 3 years in training to take care of a butt crack
that was burnt.
Yep.
You could have definitely been a medic.
I want to give you guys more credit than, you're hearing the story. These are the funny things, right? You guys are, you guys as in like our medical staff, our special operators that are medics. You're very important because we're dirty a lot of times, right? Like we don't sanitize.
I know.
Yeah. Well, I'm not dirty, but your friend was. We won't say his name, Josh. Very dirty, right? Preventative medicine is a very big thing because it impacts readiness, right? Your readiness to fight, go on missions, whatever your mission is relative. Your readiness is important, and you helped us stay ready. And was there a lot of mice there?
Yeah, so we had the cat situation and then the puppy situation. There was
Trey was in heaven.
I loved it.
Oh man, yeah.
But you love dogs.
That was Kelb. Kelb 1.
Yeah, Kelb 1. Kelb is dog in Arabic.
Yeah. So there was.
So see, she did remember some Arabic.
It doesn't matter. We'll tell the story later. She has a dog named Kelb.
That's fine, but she remembered one word.
I mean, but like.
Yeah.
We all probably know like the word dog in 20 different languages.
I don't. I just know dog.
Doggy dog.
Dog is a dog, right?
What is it in Spanish?
I don't know.
Dog.
Perro.
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 Sabaka in Russian.
Dog.
Look at us.
Hund in German.
All right. Yeah.
Anyway. See how cultured we are?
All right.
So 9 months.
So 9 months, Lebanon. You come. So pretty cool experience. Very different.
Very different
than what you ever experienced in the regular army. We say regular army, like in the general purpose force, right? You're like, holy crap. What? Last question. The amount of autonomy given to you as a staff sergeant versus a staff sergeant in general. Like, what did you think about that? You're like, what did you think about that?
It's almost too much freedom.
Yeah.
For some people. I'll admit I probably need some reins.
That's fair.
Thank you, Trey.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I think Trey and then Dave. Yeah, Dave's a big rein, but I don't know, like a staff sergeant in special operations is a pretty cool rank. I mean, I'm pretty much, I call myself a staff private all the time. They're the privates of special operations. I mean, I had more. No, I can't say that because it's not fair. Like, I want to say it's just really different. So like as an E5, I was a E5 squad leader as an MP before I left. and it's like you're in charge of other people, but what responsibility? I mean, yes, people are kind of a big responsibility, but
Sure.
like in special operations, it's like you have the ability to absolutely destroy international relations. I guess that's one way of putting it.
Sure.
So
yeah, big responsibility. You're also responsible for other people on your team because of your skill set and stuff like that. So, so Lebanon goes by, you come back,
mm-hmm.
and then you fall right back into a training cycle.
I'm pretty sure we had known we were going to deploy before we had redeployed, which is kind of I thought we were doing the dwell time. Like I literally got told I couldn't go on one deployment because of dwell time, and now you're telling me I got to go on another one right away. I think we have 9 or 10 months back.
Yeah,
something like that.
We weren't back that whole time, but so you trained up. You went to SEER school, right?
Yep. Yeah,
that was fun time. We won't.
Great time at Camp Slappy. So.
Yeah, and then now you got new dynamic on your team, or no?
Yep.
Okay, so we got a new person.
Yep. So our previous team member left the Army for law school, and then we got KJ, who was an incredible asset.
Yep.
Probably the most opposite personality for me.
180 degrees.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's a good dynamic though.
Yeah, I mean, because like if anybody knows anything about Lily, or if they don't know, like you put her in a room with, let's just say, a bunch of dudes, like she will out fart, out burp, out whatever you, right? And then you got KJ, who's like polar opposite. Yeah, like we're doing mud masks. Right.
Yep, that happened.
It did happen.
Yes,
you got pictures of that, right?
I've seen them.
But you're training up. You got this new person. It's your responsibility to train them up medically, right? It's your responsibility to get the team trained up medically.
Yep.
Right. And the next location you're going to is a little bit more
sandy,
dynamic, right? Yeah.
A little bit more dynamic, a little bit more sandy.
Yeah. So
a little smellier.
Yeah. So polar opposite from your last deployment, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You can't really, I mean, with sharing borders, you can't get any more different.
Really. Yeah.
With that quick turnaround, did you have any time to get outdoors and reset and kind of like do what you like to do? Whether it was, we'll talk about the stuff you do here shortly, but did you get to do any of that, or was it just so quick having to go to SEER school and then you're right back into workup? You really didn't have time to kind of even take a day.
I'm sure I did a little, but like,
I'm going to say,
I don't even remember what I did.
I was going to say, if you don't remember, it probably wasn't enough.
Yeah, nothing significant.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to do a lot of it while you're on deployment, right? While you're on a trip. But there's a difference, right? Like when you're separated from home and doing outdoor stuff, and then you get back home and you're like, okay, it almost felt opposite, didn't it? Like, well, at least to me, it's like you're deployed, but when you get back home, you're busier. I mean, we were busy, but then you get back home and you're like, hey, you're ramping up, get ready to go. Right. So now you're like, oh crap, now we got to get back into this. Right.
A lot more bureaucracy that can tell you, you have to,
things have changed.
Things you have to do.
Were you still single at this point?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So a little bit more at home going on,
Yep.
so that's a new dynamic thrown into it. So you do the workup, and then it's up to you guys whether you want to say where you were or not. That's totally fine.
Where'd you end up going?
Syria.
Okay.
Yeah.
What year again was this?
2018.
Yep. 2018. Yeah. It was. Yeah. We went there in the summer.
Yeah. So you got back from Lebanon in 2017, and then you were in Syria in 2018.
Yes.
How was that?
I didn't have a whole lot of fun.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
It wasn't that. It was an experience.
Sure.
How about that? Yeah, it was an experience. I don't know if I'd just leave it at that.
Yeah. So it's 6 months.
Whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
6 months in the sand.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll kind of bypass that one. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. 6 months in the sand, you come back, and then where'd you go from there?
I started the the separation process. I was like, I'm going to get out. And then, who was it? I was given the opportunity to go to Civil Affairs Assessment and Selection as cadre.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, you can re-enlist because once you hit 10 years in the Army, you have to go either get out or you're doing 20.
Yep.
And I had, how many years did I have at that time? I think it was just over.
About
it was
10 years.
Mm-hmm.
I think I had 9. And so I was like, well, I'm just going to get out because I know I don't want to do 20.
Yep.
But then they're like, well, there was some exception at the time where I was able to re-enlist for 3 years. And I was like, okay, well, I wasn't married at the time, but I had been with my boyfriend at the time for like 4 or 5 years.
Public math.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I had to write everything down for the medicine as a medic because don't make me do math in public. But lost my train of thought.
Assessment selection.
Yep. So assessment selection is cadre, which is initially it was a great job.
I mean, you were outdoors all the time.
I was walking a lot. Yep.
Yeah.
Doing a lot of walking.
Yeah.
Walking and writing. Yeah.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I did.
Good time?
Yeah. Initially, I won't get into like the personality issues and then stuff happens and it just turns. You can have a good job that turns into a bad job.
Yep, absolutely.
Was it the same time you were there, Miss Cadre?
I was cadre at the qualification course at the time. So when we got back, actually right when we got back is when John got hit in Manbij, Syria.
Yep.
And we'll bring him on at another time. We're going to get him in studio for that. So I had left, and then you had left, or you had left and I had left. I can't remember which one.
You had left because I had stayed in Alpha Company for a while.
Yeah. So I left in January of 2019. I was like late December 2018, January 2019. And then you left shortly after. It's all under the Special Warfare Training Group umbrella. Right. So yeah, I was in the course. I thought it was a great thing for you. I mean, career wise, I didn't know what your aspirations were, but so you go to assessment selection, you get to experience that for a few years. Right.
Yep.
All in all, good experience. Like people are people, right? You got turds everywhere you go.
Yeah.
No matter where you're at, no matter what profession. And then you decide to do what? Well,
I ended up in a med board, so I got medically retired towards the end of that. I mean, it was time.
Yeah.
I think I would have gotten out regardless, but it was probably the better option for that. And, medically retired, and then I just had to figure out what to do with my life.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out what I want to be when I grow up.
We all are. Yeah.
I got to grow up first.
Yeah, true.
Trey's the only one that knows, but we can't talk about it on this show. So
yeah. So your first week out of the Army, what'd you do?
Everything.
Yeah. Did you honestly? Did you go wild with all the stuff
It's a glorious time, isn't it? You got all this freedom.
Ben knows.
I know.
Yeah. It's I don't know how much changed at first, but I think the realization that I didn't have to ask somebody to go get on a plane and visit my family.
Yeah.
Like that was one of the big things. And definitely if you've never gotten out of the Army before, then it'd be new to you. But you're at this high. Like, I mean, some people probably get a low too, depending on your situation. I was like, hell yeah. I'm out. I am free. I went first thing I do is buy the DD214 Whoopee.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got my DD214 Whoopee, swap my multicam one for that, or I had the ACU one. But yeah, I got that out and I just rode a lot.
Yeah.
Rode bikes a lot. And then I went to school. So I'm in school currently. So I decided to use vocational rehab, which is a VA program to set you up for a career. So
it's a VRNE, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
VRNE.
So for those of you who are out of the Army and you have a 100% medical disability, you don't even have
to be 100. Yeah. No.
You can use VRNE to go back to school.
Does that come out of the GI too?
No, it's separate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm using that now. So once I'm done with this, so the end state is that I am employable or I have a job. That's what it is. It's to and the idea is the Army somehow broke you in some way that you had to have a career change, which was my case. And
Yep.
they're like, hey, we're going to set you up for a new job. So I tell them what I wanted to do. And until I reach that goal, they need to.
What do you want to do then?
Go fly drones, make maps.
So drone school?
It is not drone school.
Well, we'll talk.
We'll get into that.
I got a really good buddy that started a company doing that, and they just got licensed in North Carolina.
Yeah,
they're all over the country. So
I worked with a lot of guys who do that.
Yeah,
I can get you some contacts for some real world people, and yeah, I'll get you all hooked up.
So you started riding bikes. This is definitely going to the topic that,
and we're talking pedal bikes.
Yeah, we're talking pedal. Well, by the way, she had a Grom, which is like some like little 80cc.
Still have one. It's a 125.
Oh, you still got
a real
yeah,
It's a real
motorcycle.
Basically,
it's got a license.
If you're,
it's okay. Mine's not maybe cool.
It's so cute. The Grom, it's a cool little bike, man. And I saw her riding it in many times and stuff like that. Looks like a child on a bike.
Wow.
But anyways, she's 5 foot. Okay.
Hey, you got it right this time. Good job.
So anyways, but you get into pedal bike riding, right?
Specifically mountain biking.
Mountain biking.
Yes.
So
we usually call it mountain biking.
Oh, okay.
I was just being specific because when people hear bike, they're probably immediately going to go to
either motorcycle or you're one of those cyclists on the road.
Yeah. So you're not a Hell's Angel, but
and you're not one yet. Of the banana suit wearing guys on Jordan,
the skin
by Jordan Lake.
Yeah.
Taking up the entire
road.
Yes.
Yeah. Just backing traffic up when I'm trying to get
can we not talk about that? I'm going to get angry.
All right.
Those are like reference.
So mountain biking. Yeah. So there's probably clicks just like the bass fishing world.
And how.
So Little Rascals of her. And how. All right. So you're into mountain biking. So
I like bikes.
Yeah, I love lamp. So you're part of an organization, are you not?
I am. There's a couple of them. Soldiers on Singletrack and Dirt Therapy Project.
Okay.
I'm kind of I am the women's chapter lead for Soldier on Singletrack, and then Dirt Therapy Project, I'm the North Carolina liaison. So when we have rides, it's just kind of like dual hatted. Like they're two organizations that were started around the same time. I think Dirt Therapy got started a little earlier, and two different dudes with the exact same idea.
Yep.
Just getting veterans on bikes for recreational therapy.
Okay.
And like they have their, like you said, with fishing, I'm sure, like you have different niches, and same with mountain biking.
Okay.
Like we have like the enduro, the downhill, and it's just whatever you like to do, and we all just go ride together. Started off as the Soldier on Singletrack was kind of geared towards the enduro racing, and then it just kind of expanded from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is your guys's like? It's a 501c3 nonprofit organization.
Yep, both of them.
Right. Both of them are. There's not enough, by the way, that are out there to service the veteran and anybody community. I don't know if it's just geared towards veterans. It sounds like it is. But regardless of the fact, like if you're a veteran looking for outdoor therapy, it's not just bass fishing, it's not just fishing, it's mountain biking. So what is your guys's like how does somebody join that? Like what do they do?
Yeah, hit me up.
Okay. Well, I'll just hit you up then.
Yeah, it's easy. So we do have websites that you can go on, and then you can email. And what the email does, it usually sends to like whatever your region is.
Okay.
So we have like the two North Carolina Soldier on Singletrack chapter leads are actually out in Western North Carolina, but because it's such a long state, I'm out east, so I kind of handle the east stuff, and then they do the west, and I use any excuse I can to go out to the mountains. Like, and if you know, I'm usually out there once or twice a month at a minimum when I can. And we just, wherever you are, you find a chapter lead. If there isn't one, we'll find you one. And they just do group rides.
Do you have to have your own bike?
We do have a couple rentals. There's our Soldier on the Singletrack one is in Western North Carolina right now. And most people have multiple bikes. I have 2 bikes, so if you have somebody that's child size that needs to direct a bike, I got you. Yeah, mine aren't my child, but yeah, most people we'll hook you up with bikes if somebody wants to go out and ride. We'll find a way to. Somebody has an extra bike. Unfortunately, we don't have a massive
budget
stock or a budget. Like, we're a nonprofit. We're fairly new. It's a little over a year or so on Singletrack, like formally.
Okay.
But yeah, we try to get people on bikes. If not, we've had some giveaways where like somebody donated a bike, and unfortunately we don't have like a entire inventory to be like, hey, yeah, we can get everybody on a bike. We'd like to one day. We're working on that.
Okay.
And then we have some people that have like donated, like, hey, I have my old bike, donated it, and we have group rides. We'll bring it out. So
okay,
we have a couple of them. I know the North Carolina Dirt Therapy Project has a couple bikes. I know I'm probably not into the mountain bike YouTube world, but Seth's Bike Hacks actually donated one of his bikes. He's pretty big. If you want to get into mountain biking, that's probably the YouTube channel I give you to, because he'll tell you everything you need to know. So that's a good one. So he donated one. So where are we getting at? How do you get involved? So how you get involved, you go, the Instagram for some reason that's where everyone likes to chat. So we have chat. You hit me up, one of the other ones up. We hit include you in the Instagram chat or Facebook. It's kind of grassroots kind of thing where it's like, somebody, you get in the chat, and then I post a lot of the rides and the events up on Instagram, Facebook. Yeah,
you're doing a lot of content stuff, right? Like, are you rocking GoPros and stuff like that?
I do every now and then. I started wearing a GoPro so my mom could watch me ride.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, like I have YouTube, but like I don't really.
Yeah. I think I made a YouTube like 5 years ago, and I think I have nothing on it. Ben with OneCast Fishing, his YouTube is pretty solid. So I want to ask you though, for those listening, and we'll give you a chance at the end to like plug all of the websites and the socials and stuff like that. For you, with 12, 13 years of military service, numerous amounts of deployments, numerous experiences, from stateside trauma to going down range, whatever. For you, what does it do for you when you get on that mountain bike and you're getting after it?
So, like I said, there's like lots of different disciplines for biking. So for me, I really like trail riding. Like, I like the natural trails. I like the enduro racing, which is for mountain biking, it's generally you pedal yourself up a hill. That's like Western North Carolina is like my favorite place to ride, because you go and you have almost 2 hours of climbing. Sometimes it's a lot.
Wow.
That's like the longer ones. Usually they're like 45 minutes or an hour just straight climbing. You get like 2,000 feet ascent, and then 10, 15-minute downhills.
45 up, 10 down.
Yep. Just ripping down. So like that's kind of enduro.
Sounds terrible, but I appreciate that you didn't know. I'm just kidding.
It gets a little less terrible where I remember the first time I went out there, I'm just like
just sucking air as hard as you can.
Like I come from like 120 feet elevation. Like,
yeah. Give me a minute.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God. But yeah, it was one of the things. First time I went out there, it was a dirt therapy ride. It's actually a friend I went to Sockham with, is one of the other chapter leads, and yeah, it was a weird thing. Like, it was a Facebook group where it was like, hey, we're going on a ride. And like, I asked a question, because this was like kind of when I was newer into biking, because I really started biking during language on CAQC, because you get done at like 4:00. Mm-hmm. So every day after language, I'd go ride Smith Lake, which is the shitty little trail on post right here. And it's just sand. I can't shit talk it too much, because like I am incredibly grateful that I have a trail that's like 10 minutes from my house.
Yeah.
Like, most of the good ones I have to drive along.
How do you say biking in Arabic?
Oh, you gotta put it on. How do you say it in Pashto?
So there's 2 different ways to say it.
Bicycle.
Bicycle. It's
That's my wife.
My name is Jeff. No, don't worry about it.
No, you're
don't worry about it. So, but like for you, so the challenge, right? The disciplines, things like that. Reconnecting. Do you find peace even though you're out there in a group, you're on the bike by yourself. We're not tandem up this 45-minute ride, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're with the group. Like, so with biking, I think this is where I was going, and then I went off on a tangent.
It's my fault.
Yeah, of course it is.
Uh-huh.
So like road biking, I can't do road biking.
That's fair.
God bless them, but you're just pedaling straight, staring at the road, and you've got nothing but your thoughts. And that's what I like about like enduro riding. Usually you're chilling. We're not on a race to get up the hill with a group, or you're by yourself. Like, sure, you can be alone with your thoughts, but you're in the woods. It's beautiful in the mountains and pedaling up, and then you go down and you can't. It's a good distraction. Like, you get away, because if you start thinking about things besides riding your bike, you're gonna find a alternate descent to the bottom.
I think you've got a couple of videos of those alternate descents, if I remember it.
Gravity wins quite a bit.
Yeah. You'll have that on the big jobs.
Yeah, you get that.
90 pounds soaking wet going down a 45-degree angle, smashes in like 200 miles an hour, huh? Like,
yeah, I had to retire a helmet once. Thank you, Rock Creek.
But it's peaceful. It helps you reconnect. But you also have that camaraderie too when you're in a group, right? Mm-hmm. So like, you come from a team dynamic, an awesome team dynamic, mind you. The best.
Except for the teams aren't.
Yeah.
Later.
Got your jerks. But it helps you reconnect. It's challenging. You're part of a group, but you get to be by yourself. Go ahead, Pete.
So when you got out, you kind of went wild with being able to travel. You didn't have to answer anybody. But was there a point where you really missed that camaraderie and like the team? And because you hear that a lot from folks who come out of special operations, right? Like that's one of the things that they miss the most is that team. Was there a point where you really felt that hole in your life where you didn't have that?
So I've been pretty big into the mountain biking. I'd been in the groups before I got out. So like it's like the community. Mm-hmm. So like I had a community. I'd already found my community, and most of them we do have active duty, all shapes and forms of veterans and active duty. So we, a lot of them were veterans, so they were free at the point. So I'm hanging out with like
people that are little, similar.
You get that little glimpse, and like they've already been through what I was about to go through, and then what I have. So it's a really solid community. I'm sure that y'all are same, but different.
Yep.
And it's because it's more than just riding bikes. Like, and we still will go hang out with each other, and I think just community is really the biggest thing, and it is important. Like, I think I found that with enduro racing. So like usually in my age group in the female category, I'm often racing myself. So
you always win.
win. I got so many podiums. Like, got it. But yeah, it's a small group. But like, I'm not a competitive person, but going to those races, and it really is, because your little community of veterans grows into the community of like the mountain bike riders, like in Western North Carolina, and then we have dudes from like Tennessee, Georgia, like the whole Southeast, like coming together, and your community just grows. And like kind of same doing here, like you have a community, and then you have people that are into other things. So we have some like motocross riders too, and then what else we got? We got tons. It's like every way, like everyone came together for biking, but everyone also has different outlets.
Yeah, sure.
We have some guys that are big into kayaking too. Whitewater kayaking, like they go right out there too.
So
you go ahead.
Nope, go ahead.
So you replaced one community with another team, however you want to look at it. That community you talk about for folks from Georgia, Tennessee. You spend a lot of time in Western North Carolina. It was just obviously decimated. We talked about it on last week's episode. If you listen. And I want to kind of transition because there's something else you're doing that I'm sure helps as well. And that's with the drone stuff. Mm-hmm. And you just got back from Western North Carolina doing some work with drones, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know what I want to ask.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, tell us about like, because I know it's worse than what we're seeing on TV.
It's, I mean, so I'll go back. So the drone community is also another veteran community. So Vets to Drones, we're nationwide, and just like the bikes, it's like get veterans into the drone industry. But also one of the huge aspects that we're trying to expand is using drones as therapy, recreational therapy.
Sure.
For me, I kind of have a little line, like there's the work drones. And then I also been kind of getting into the FPV stuff, and that's like, for me, that's like the more therapy.
Is that the racing stuff you see?
Yeah, where they're like on the sticks and everything,
Yeah.
and like
you get your headsets on, the
goggles and all that. And you're like, like, and I never played video games. I'm not a video game person, so like the learning curve was pretty steep and steeper for me. Like some kids you can give to them, and they're like, "Oh, sticks, cool," and I'm like, what do? I don't do it with my hands, but yeah, it's been fun because it's a new challenge. I think a new challenge, but then once you're able to put that together and not crash as much, you're still like with FPV, it's like you're gonna crash. Like with regular drones, the normal ones that you think of, those shouldn't be crashed all the time.
Like a DJI copter or something?
Yeah, like the DJI ones. So that's the...
Have you gotten to the fixed wing ones too?
I haven't flown those. Like you need an additional license, but yeah, those ones are becoming bigger, like more widespread. Those are really good for mapping. Like if you want to do widespread mapping, like the fixed wing is always going to be better than the quad.
I know it's a little different.
Almost always.
I'm going to mention it because I saw it on Facebook Marketplace today. Some guy around here selling his F-35 drone. It's like $500.
Really?
Yeah,
you should totally buy it. It's like a replica of a
F-35. Yeah,
F-35. You should
totally buy it, and we'll race bass boats.
Probably, maybe as long as, I don't know. It might be as long as this table here.
Is it the one that like can come to a hover?
Oh, I don't think the drone.
That would
be that's awesome.
But you should totally buy it, and then we'll race bass.
And I don't know if it's technically. They probably technically classify like an RC aircraft or something.
That would be an RC aircraft. I don't.
But
yeah, those ones are not.
So vets to drones, it's called.
Yeah, they're on Instagram. I'll have it all linked below.
Yep.
Vets to drones.
How did you get linked up with that though?
I don't even know. I am like the worst with like, how'd you do that? I'm like, I don't know. I just did it.
You just did it.
I somehow I don't know where it came up because I had been interested in drones. My dad actually got me interested in drones. He's a photographer, cinematographer, and he started flying, and then he bought me a little mini one and started flying that years ago. And then I found out that it can be actually a lucrative thing to do. And I was like, okay, like, and then like in my head, I'm like, oh, I can fly drones.
Yeah.
I'm going to school for geospatial science, so like I can do GIS stuff. I can make trails, like fly drones, make maps, make trails, and so something with drones in the woods. Hopefully, I can do in the future. But
so, awesome. What is the drones? I mean, it's again, like you said, it's another challenge, just like riding up that mountain, right? It's another challenge. Is there a different part of your mental and emotional state that the drones, that therapy helps versus like the mountain bikes? Is it different, or is it one and the same?
I think it's a little different for me because I'm focusing on drones as like a career.
Okay.
And like something I want to do like as part of my career. So I kind of have that mindset. And then I think I kind of got in the FPV. I had a friend that got in the FPV. And like with that, if you want to fly FPV, anybody listening, go get a simulator. I know for me, I'm like, I like video games. I don't want to play video. This seems stupid, but like that's, got to get a simulator. Otherwise you're going to be really, really good at soldering in like a week. you're gonna crash. The learning curve is, I don't know how I can emphasize that enough, because now they have like all these little tiny smart drones and stuff like that DJI Neo that'll like follow you around, and like it's cool. It's basically a toy. Actually, it'd probably be pretty good for fishing.
I have one.
I was gonna say for fishing, I think that would be like the best. Like it's not
now that
not good for mountain biking.
Now we know we got a drone operator on the show, and we got some ideas for some things that we want to do on our boats anyways. So
all right,
you know,
the hard part is
your first job. I mean, it's obviously going to be an internship, of course. We're not paying
obviously.
You know. Do you need another one?
I'm good right now.
Oh, that's cool, man. Like, so vets to drones.
Yeah.
And then what are the two names of the mountain biking?
Soldiers on Singletrack.
Soldiers on Singletrack.
And the Dirt Therapy Project.
Also, I found both their Instagram, so I'll find all their stuff and I'll link it in the description below.
You know what?
Well, so we wanted to talk about what her mission, what she was doing in Western North Carolina.
Yeah.
and then you can ask whatever.
Well, that's what I was gonna.
Okay, go ahead.
Talk about it. So you're taking this therapy approach to drones, a career approach to drones, but then you get activated somehow,
in a sense,
right?
Yeah.
Whether or not it's volunteered or voluntold or volun-asked, whatever, right? And so you take that capability. How did that come about going to Western North Carolina?
So I don't know if anybody's not familiar with the state of the drone industry right now. Not to take away from the North Carolina thing, but just kind of a little bit of a background is Congress has been trying to ban DJI. It's Chinese based, and while none of us really want to just keep flying Chinese drones, we would love to fly American drones. The reality is we can't rely on anything but DJI right now because the technology is so good, and it's so reliable. And then my drone broke over the weekend, but oh
yeah, thanks China.
Yeah, thanks China. But yeah, that wasn't. I'm always shit talking the. I have an American drone, and it just. I really wish it was good.
Yeah.
I really, really want it to be good, but it's not there. Anyway, we could get in a whole another.
And it's really all like the software in it, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's 100% the software.
Oh, I thought you had like a diesel drone or something.
I mean, they got them.
They got them. Oh yeah.
But anyways, keep going. I'm sorry.
So anyway, so like that's been on the chopping block, but the push in this year has been a big one. Is from first responders, emergency management. Is like you need to listen to us about these drones because it's such a good capability.
Sure.
People were worried about all the everything in the air, all the helicopters and everything, and I'll just say the misinformation is phenomenal coming out right now. Like it's absolutely like not phenomenal is in a good way. Is like just the abundance of it is.
Yeah.
It's
like believe half what you see and nothing of what you hear.
It's so bad.
Don't believe anything you see.
Don't believe anything you see.
Believe anything.
Don't believe anything. Believe this.
Believe it.
Believe this.
Believe me.
Believe Lily.
I haven't looked at this thing the whole time.
What you just did now. Now I know it's real.
Yeah, everyone.
They can see you.
Now I just realized they're staring at the back of my head this whole time.
These chairs raise up and down, folks. I'm just letting you know. Don't even try because you're gonna break something.
Anyway, yeah, probably. Anyway, we'll get back to drones.
Wow.
I'm gonna reel this in. Anyway, so the so you're trying to encourage Congress to take a step back and be like, look, yes, we all want this, but right now you have life-saving technology and you need to let us use it.
Yep.
Bottom line.
Yep.
So we have a bunch of dudes that are really, really into the first drone as a first responder thing. We have people that are well trained. We have a dude that has Appalachian UAV Academy, Academy. One of our dudes out there that has been flying like nonstop recovery missions. So they had requests by fire department, sheriff's office, and so Chris Lewis is the founder of Vets to Drones. He's based out of Raleigh. Got a crew of us together, and they had somebody's contact out there at this like compound just north of Spruce Pine, kind of by Linville. I don't know if you've ever been to the area, so like that little area. And it's
very hard hit.
Yeah, Spruce Pine's been on the news for a lot of conspiracy theory reasons, but it is an actual place, and they need some help. But so we went out there with some drones. Most of what we did was a lot of lifting and a lot of distributing of goods. We had it was actually an 82nd cab. Chinook came out, dropped us off some water, and we helped put up some water stations. And I know we had one dude that had taken his drone out to the Appalachian Trail, was searching for people that had been hiking. They're still out there, mostly flying for sheriff's office. I know NCDOT has been all over out there doing good work on the railways as well, because a lot of the railways got
destroyed,
just absolutely destroyed. I mean, along with everything else, the roads. Where do we go with that one?
It's bad.
It's bad.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's bad. It's
You don't believe what you see on Twitter or X, whatever it is now, especially.
Yeah, it's listen to the people out there. I think one of the biggest takeaways I took was it's if you've never been out in the region, if you're not familiar with Appalachia, like it's a very close knit community. There's a lot of distrust of outside agencies, a lot of government for good reason because of just history, and it's important to like. I didn't realize I would be doing so much CA stuff.
Yeah,
you knew it was coming, didn't you?
I did.
But yeah, so much CA stuff. Like literally, we were given by like I don't really want to like throw people's names like
don't
location and whatever, but we were literally given cash to give back to the community. And I'm like,
yeah,
HA,
humanitarian assistance.
Yeah, and it's great because it's that's what a lot of them need now. Is I mean the physical donations has been massive. Almost to a point of a problem. We're having trouble storing, but
we talked about that. And for those of y'all who don't know, like when you respond to a man-made or natural disaster, assistance should be a phased approach.
Yeah.
Right. Should be a phased approach. So there's the immediate impact response, and then there's the sustainability piece of it.
Yeah.
Did you get to utilize your drones at all?
Oh yeah. They're flying a lot. I was out there like, and I was really on the fence about like, should I go? Like I was asked, I was like, do you want me and my capability? I've got like, I had a DJI Air 2S, which is it's a higher end consumer drone as far as like camera drones go. So it's good for like scouting and stuff, but it decided not to link up with like something inside died on it. So it would turn on, but it wouldn't talk to anything. So like I was at a drone.
Oh, that's the thanks China.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, and I would hear them all like, "Oh, the American drone doesn't work," but I had to fly that. But yeah, the DJI didn't work, so yeah, I'm in the process of getting a new drone.
Okay.
So yeah, the drones have been incredibly helpful. For a lot of it is like the mission I got to do was literally just scouting some dude's property so he could let his neighbor or his brother, I think, know that his house was still there, and then figure out access because there were roads had washed away.
Yep.
So I personally didn't do a ton of flying, but I did a lot of networking. Some of those people had never been out to that area, so like I don't know like intimately like the back roads, but I know the area generally well.
Yep.
Which is helpful, and then I have friends and family out there that were able to link us up with some other fire departments and areas that could use our help. So,
interesting.
And they've got a Wilmore,
Ohio.
Right. Yeah, they have a pretty established base camp out there. I think, all right, I'll leave it at this. So if you want to help, because I know a lot of people want to help and they're chomping at the bit to help. Like I got my truck and I got my 4-wheeler, send me. And it's, if you don't have a specific mission, if you don't know where you're going and why, then maybe you should put money back in the community. So there's a ton of local bike shops, local businesses, buy from them. I think one of the biggest
stimulate the economy.
Exactly. Stimulate I think one of the biggest issues is a lot of these people have nowhere to work.
Yeah.
And like they're already a lot of places out there living paycheck to paycheck. So
sure.
Like find work. Like somebody go employ these people to go help clean up. Like, that's just one idea. Like, I don't know. I don't have all the solutions.
No, nobody does.
But
right. Nobody does. But every hand, a coordinated hand can help.
Yep. Yeah.
Right.
Think like if you have a specific skill set, capability, asset, like a skid steer or something like that as an asset, or something like that that's needed and asked for, go find area. There's tons of information out there on how to help. But the biggest thing is just don't just show up.
Yeah.
Find a church, find a fire department, call them and see how you can help before just rolling out there. Absolutely.
Yeah. Just don't show up. Be like, I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and don't forget about it is the big one is people. There's going to be a new distraction.
Yeah. Well, Florida
election
season,
elections coming,
and getting the winners when they're really going to need.
Sure. And
Trey and I just talked about all this. How we were talking about. I think it was last week, and I was like, in 2 weeks, everybody's going to forget.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's what we do in America. Yeah. We all want to virtue signal and help right away to say, look what I did. I sent 10 cases of water, and then people will be freezing to death this winter. And when what did we do? So we're not going to let people forget on this show.
No, not at all. I'm glad you brought it up. Like doing CA stuff.
It is a CA mission.
100%. It's part of what Lily's career was reacting and responding to man-made and natural disasters. And this is no different than that. This is exactly what that is, right? The coordinating effort is one of the largest pieces of the puzzle that somebody with some wits about them needs to be able to handle. An emergency disaster management coordinator or whatever it is. And like she said, people are chomping off at the bit to want to get out there and help, but you need to understand like what help is absolutely needed. And seasonal stuff is very important, right? So like clothes and fuel or whatever the case may be is going to be very important for the upcoming winter season. They're probably going to have enough water. They're probably going to have enough of this, enough of that. And so is there a website? And I don't know, cause I'm ignorant to it. Until I get back. And then, I planned on doing a link up and not with a militia group, right? But, like it's what we do, right? Indigenous and immersion.
We talked about taking a trip.
But there's probably a few of them out there.
But there's probably a few of them. And we've done, we do a lot of training up there, right? I've done a lot of training up in that area. And actually one of our old teammates, his parents are from Spruce Pines, right? He's actually on another continent right now, and they were devastated by this disaster.
Yep,
100%. So, but yeah, so if people are looking to coordinate to provide assistance outside of FEMA and stuff like that, not that that's a bad option, but it's not the only option. Where can they go to do that?
So there's a ton of options. So like I'm sure, I don't know if you link my Instagram, I've been just dedicating my stories to a lot of the stuff I see.
Yeah.
One of the big places you can start is Blue Ridge Public Radio.
Okay.
They've been a very good network because there's Blue Ridge Public Radio, Hurricane Helene, WNC. I don't know if it's .com or .org.
Probably .org.
It's so Hurricane Helene, WNC, they're also collecting a bunch of information and providing like volunteer opportunities. So Camp Greer, they're in Old Fort, so they're tied in with the mountain bike community. Mountain bike community is pretty strong in Old Fort, and they actually have a website where you can sign up day by day to volunteer, and you can actually, if you bring your own tent, you can stay on their property. I've stayed there before for mountain bike races.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a beautiful property. Hopefully it's still okay. I know that area is not the same. It was hurting before, and it's not gonna be easy to rebuild that area. But those are some off the top of my head. I'll obviously, if I find some more, we can go and link them in there. But those are the big ones. And then Mana Food Kitchen has been like a staple in Asheville. If you've ever been out in Asheville, it's like they had a massive warehouse. It got completely devastated, and their whole area operations is the Asheville area and then the Kala boundary. So the Kala boundary is tied in with like the Cherokee tribe. So they've been doing aid out there and food for years. I don't even know how long, but really long. But they were able to quickly set up a new food kitchen and distribute food and aid. So that's awesome. Another good one. If you want to give monetary food donation, that'd be a good one.
So I don't know what you guys had, but to kind of culminate your military experience, now your outdoor therapy through mountain biking, your drone therapy, does it on a non-selfish way, does it give you a sense of satisfaction that you're able to take like all of those skills and just apply them to help people? Probably a rhetorical question.
I don't know. I don't know if I ever really thought of it that way. It's just like that area of the state, the country is really important. I spent a lot. I feel like I've taken a lot from there. Like to go out there and like now it's just to give back, because if you've ever spent time out in the mountains out there, like they're special.
Yes.
And I know y'all are pretty much bass fishermen, but if you've ever trout fished, like Davidson River is beautiful, and they're going to be, I know they're Davidson River Outfitters is the fishing store, outfitter store, but they're big for like fly fishing.
Yep.
And I know they've had some donation stuff going on because they're a staple right at the entrance of Pisgah National Forest. So they may have some like river cleanup, which is going to be a problem because I know that's a big one, especially for the trout, because I know they've recently rerouted some mountain bike trails because the runoff was increasing the turbidity in the water, which is no good for trout, from what I understand.
Yep.
So you never thought about it before, and that's fine. Like it's going to be ongoing. But I will tell you this: the skills and the disciplines that you built in the military, and then what you're doing right now, I think they're definitely a feeder mechanism for you being able to provide whatever support you're able to provide out there. And I think that's important because, as a lot of people know, when you transition, it doesn't matter what job it is or career it is, but like when you lose your sense of purpose and your sense of fulfillment, that's when things spiral out of control. And it seems like you got a good handle on that. And I think that's important for everybody watching and listening, is like your sense of purpose doesn't have to be your sense of fulfillment. It can be two different things. But you're taking all of those things that you learned and applying them to something great, right? To a devastated situation to hopefully bring some peace to some people, and I think that's important. I mean, I don't know what else to say. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's humble to not think about it that way. You're being humble, but you're exactly what Trey said.
Yeah. And that's I don't know. I think, like you said, any humbling situation is probably, I don't know, if you're being humbled, you're probably being in the right situation.
Sure,
for you.
absolutely.
If that's the way to put it. So, like going off what you're saying for like finding skills, and I'm going to go back on the therapy thing with bikes. Kind of, I just go off the rails. That's what I do. But for the bike, like I think why I realized that was my thing was that. It just, like, I'm sure when you're fishing, like you like this is what I need to be doing right now. Like this is right. Like it's just something about being on a bike. And I know a lot of people have found that, like, have never been into bikes. Like I didn't really get into bikes until I moved out here.
Yeah.
Like I had bikes off and on, but rode, and then it just rode out here, and it was just something to get away.
Yeah.
Like it's like you have that outlet.
Yeah.
Like I guess that is an outlet, and like the same with drones. And for some people, like it may be like some like just flying. It's, I don't know, if you've never flown a drone, it's cool.
It is cool. Yeah. It is really cool.
Flying robots,
especially when you fly it when you don't have to. When you're being forced to fly, it kind of sucks sometimes, right?
Yeah.
But I think an important piece of what you just said is, we see society getting very angry, right? Getting very short-tempered and irritable. Stuff like that. The veteran community is not exempt from that, right? Specifically those who have went and done things that you were told to do, that you were like, holy crap, I can't believe I'm going to do this. Mm-hmm. A lot of people need those outlets in order to disconnect, to reconnect with people, right? Where you find yourself out there alone and unafraid, and just gathering your thoughts and putting those puzzle pieces back together. So when you go back into your community or your marriage or your friendships or whatever, you're not a giant ass, right? Mm-hmm. You can get very angry and short-tempered with people. You need that we always call it that me time, right? You need that me time. And that's part of that outdoor therapy, whether or not it's on a bike, flying a drone, on a boat fishing, fly fishing like Jackie does up in Utah. Whatever the case may be, outdoor therapy is outdoor therapy. It's something, and Rick Clunn has talked about it forever. Rick Clunn is one of the most like famous OGs of bass fishing. He just retired this year and an idol to a lot of us, but he talks about like just the connection with nature. And I think just as important the connection in nature is the connection with yourself, right? We tend to lose a lot of that connecting with ourselves. And so I think it's very important what you're doing. I know it's important what you're doing. I think a lot of people will benefit from hearing about this.
Absolutely.
You've had a freaking phenomenal career, a phenomenal life so far, getting ready to start a second career. You're already kind of doing it anyways. I guess my final thought, and then I'll tell a sneaky secret about you, which I think is funny. For those who are thinking about it, getting into the outdoors or thinking about mountain biking or drone, like what if they're not doing it, like what is your message to them? What is your message to those that are on the fence?
Like if someone's like, hey, should I go buy this bike? I actually just got somebody to buy a bike a while ago.
There you go.
Yeah, one of my college professors was like, you ride bikes a lot, huh? And like asked me about it.
Yeah, thanks for that C-.
Yeah, right. But yeah, fail me now. but yeah, I'd say go out and try it. Like go rent a bike, something. Then, and that's the cool thing about bikes is like we all have our little groups. Like we have the enduro riders, we have the cross country skin suit dudes, you have the roadies that whatever roadies do roadie things, and then you have the gravel bike riders that don't know whether they're a roadie or a mountain biker.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just did a 60 mile gravel ride in Idaho a couple months ago, and it was cool. I never have to race a gravel race again. But I mean, that again, like that's not for me. Like that's for like, say somebody's like, I don't want my tires to leave the ground. I just want to like pedal, but I want to be off the road. And I'm like, well, gravel's for you.
Yeah.
Then we have the jumpy boys, they go
the jumpy boys.
Yeah. You go to a park and it's like just the jump parks, the big massive jumps and the booters and stuff. And like,
you talking about like BMX?
No, like big mountain bikes, but they have, yeah, it's more like they doing all the tricks and stuff.
I used to ride BMX. Just saying.
Yeah, those are the ones.
He's got a wicked buddy.
BMX fun.
Yeah.
Then you have the BMX. Then you have like there's just all sorts of disciplines, and you can find what fits for you. Like just go get on a bike.
Just do it.
Just go try it, and if you're like, I hate this, like, cool, go find something else. I don't know, get a scooter.
Yeah.
but I don't know, like find something else. But it's a good way to. Everyone's like, oh, it's just like riding a bike, and then some people are like, how do you get so like? Because you can get well into the weeds real quick about bikes. Like
everything.
My one of my mountain bikes is worth more than both of my motorcycles together. Like,
oh really?
It's
those Groms.
Yeah, the Groms are cheap.
Yeah, like $5.99 a piece.
Oh no, less than that. Mine was like under $4,000 out the door.
Oh really?
They gotten a little more expensive. It's probably closer to $5,000. But inflation. But now you can't even get a used one for $4,000. But yeah, like yes, you can. You don't have to have a $7,000 mountain bike.
Sure. Just like you don't have to have $100,000 bass boat.
Right.
I think that's with anything. I mean, I think we're all saying, for all of us, we love getting outdoors. Now, for the three of us, it's mostly fishing or hunting and all. For you, it's riding bikes. But like, there's all sorts of other avenues. There's people get into the weeds for backpacking. Mountain climbing, kayaking, whether that's just getting in your local pond, ocean kayaking, whitewater rafting. I mean, you can go a lot of different ways with it. And there's plenty of other hobbies and examples like that. I can't even think of right now that deals with the outdoors, that there's a certain niche community involved. And so I think what we're all saying is just go out there and start trying some if you want to get out, and you may hate some things.
Yep.
But you might find something you love.
And anybody that's interested in getting into the mountain biking world or the drone world, like where can they find you at on your socials? So what's your Instagram handle?
Trail_farts.
Okay. So trail farts.
You heard that right.
Yeah.
It'll be linked down below.
It was
my favorite Instagram names.
Yeah, it was a joke that all of a sudden when someone was like, because for like mountain biking, when you race, sometimes you put your name or like your ats
Yeah, so your new call sign.
Whatever on like your helmet or something. And someone's like, "Your trail farts?" I'm like, "Oh, well, it's stuck now."
Go.
I'm like, well, now it's stuck. But yeah, it was a joke that just is now I don't know.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
Great.
It like defines you perfectly.
Yeah, right.
So trail farts on Instagram. What about Facebook?
I think it's just my name,
Lily Wilker.
Yeah.
And then what are the websites for the 2 mountain bikes? Mountain bike outdoor therapy.
So sosmtb.org.
Okay.
I think if you just put that, it should look there, but or soldiersonsingletrack.org or mtb.org.
Okay.
And then tdtp.org, the Dirt Therapy Project. Well, they so Dirt Therapy Project recently got merged, I guess, with Veterans Future Fund, and like Team Red, White, and Blue is part of that.
Okay.
So they're all integrated with that, like which is actually providing a lot more opportunities.
Sure.
So like the School of, I'm going to get this wrong. It's in north of Bentonville, Arkansas, but it's School of Human Performance. Mm-hmm. But they have a lot of veterans opportunities for like getting into recreational therapy or like physical therapy stuff. So that's another good one for that. So I'm not sure what they're kind of like in a phase. I think they're changing their website, but I'm not sure.
That's all right. You can Google it. I'm sure.
Yeah, Google.
Yeah.
It's all linked in it's also linked in my Instagram bio.
And I'll have it linked down below for everybody too.
Yeah. Use your powers of Google.
Yeah, Sergeant Major Google,
and then,
right?
Vets 4 drones.
Vets 2 drones.
Vets 2 drones.
TO.
Vets 2 drones.
I'm wrapped in looking at their.
Okay.
Yeah, I had
one. There should be a lot of stuff in there.
And then trail farts, and then Trey is chomping at the bit.
Oh boy.
Well, so first and foremost, like, thank you for coming here and talking about your experience. I know we summarized a lot of deployments for a good reason. But no matter what, like you've had a hell of a experience so far, from growing up in Ohio, to being a very valuable member of the special operations community, and now you're serving the community still, right? Yep. Here's a cool fact. What do you think I'm going to say? Don't you think you know what I'm going to say?
I have no idea.
So.
Is this like we're gonna have to end as soon as you're done? Or
no? Okay. So Lily once upon a time in her life was in a music video.
Oh yeah?
Were you not?
Yeah.
You still have that music video?
So I lost the link, which I'm gonna have you send it to me.
Oh darn.
Yeah. So you were in a music video. What was that music video all about?
It was something LinkedIn. I think it was the John Schwab.
I don't know. You were in it.
It was a guy from Ohio.
Yeah.
It was music. My dad's in production, so like his college buddies, best friends or whatever, were making a music video, and he was helping produce, make whatever his friend was filming it.
It was wicked weird, man.
Super. I mean, it was
You were 80s. Like what? Like 3 or 4? Maybe a little older.
I couldn't have been over like.
You're just a little like towhead, man. Like a little. You sent us the link to it, and gosh, I don't have the same phone because I dropped it in Jordan Lake, so I lost everything. But which is why I keep beating you guys up about like old pictures and stuff. But yeah, little fun fact about Lily, aka Trail Farts. She was in a music video when she was a little kid, and it was the most bizarre thing ever. Yeah, it was super weird.
What type of music was it?
I don't even know what kind of music.
Just rock.
It was like, rock music.
Yeah,
but it was black. It was black and white.
Yeah, it was like classic.
Yeah,
it was like an 80s.
Yeah, it was bizarre, but yeah. So I love that.
It's called Rock of Ages.
Yeah, Rock of Ages.
Oh, we're gonna look it up on YouTube.
Yeah, so
now if you can find it. Good luck if you can find it.
I don't know if we'll be able to find it, but Lily, you man, you continue to amaze me. You always say like, "Oh, I'm not book smart." Man, you're pretty book smart. Mm-hmm. Pretty book smart. Made it through special operations medical course. Like that's pretty good, right? Something I never did. And you're continuing to serve the community, man. I'm super proud of you. It was awesome serving with you, and I know we're not going to lose our connection and stuff. That's why you're on this show, so we'll keep that going. I don't have any other questions for Lily. I wanted to turn it over to you guys. You got anything?
No, I just want to close it out.
Close it out, Pete.
Can I close it out? I'm about to make you two mad. So here's what's going down. I made an executive decision, and I might get fired, but it's okay.
fired.
I'm going to link everything we talked about down below. So we have Soldiers on Singletrack, which is Lily's directly involved with, is one of their chapter leads. The other mountain bike, what was the other one?
Dirt
Therapy Project. And then Vets to Drones. I'm going to link all those down below. And then we're going to link a bunch of those charities that she's going to recommend, because she's been out there boots on the ground. She knows what's real and what's not. So we want to make sure if you're looking to donate, you go ahead and do that. And if you do donate, go ahead and actually you need to donate and then screenshot any of those, either the charities, the 501c3 she's worked with, donate to that, screenshot it, send to us, and we'll match donations up to $250 to any of those. And then anybody that donates, we'll put your name in a hat and we'll do a giveaway. I don't know what we're going to give away. We got plenty of stuff to give away. We'll put together a pretty sweet package for you. It's important that we support those 501c3s that are supporting our veterans, that are getting them out, because they've done so much for us without us asking. They just did it because it needed to be done, and they were out there doing it. And they continue to do it through these 501c3s, supporting these other charities that are helping our fellow countrymen in an extremely difficult time. I'm going to say it again. I said it last episode. It's going to be years rebuilding Western North Carolina, if not a decade. It's worse than what we've seen.
It'll never be the same.
It's never going to be the same. And we need to do everything we can to support those folks financially. Trey and I are going to try to organize a little run out there to take some stuff. We're going to look at what they need at the time. We're looking early November, because we know it's getting to winter and they're going to need stuff. So we'll put info out if you have stuff you want to donate then, or if you want to donate money to that, we'll make sure we go buy a bunch of winter coats, whatever it is. But we want to get out there. So yeah, appreciate everybody listening. Make sure you check that out. I'm going to link all that stuff down below. Thank you for all the support. Lily, thank you for coming in, telling your story. We're definitely going to get you back on to continue to talk about the therapy stuff. For Ben and what's the new nickname? Sea Slug Actual. I appreciate you all support. Help us continue to grow a community of anglers, helping anglers one cast at a time.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh God, it's a toad, son. It's a toad, dude.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day.